What it do, y'all? This your boy, Dee-1, and right now you watching Immediately Kinfolk.
Immediately Kinfolk. Immediately Kinfolk Podcast, one hard-ass podcast. And today we have someone that I feel like is my brother in spirit, another kindred spirit, someone who's grounded I truly respect, you know what I mean?
Indeed.
And he is live in the flesh. Shout out to my kinfolk. Uno, Dee-1. What up, my guy?
Thank you so much for having me.
What's up, man? Blessed to be able to have you here, man.
Yeah.
We've been trying to put this together for a minute, man. Your schedule's been crazy because you've been doing a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Running around. But we're going to go ahead and address the elephant in the room from the beginning. You know what I mean? The whole scenario with Rick Ross, you know what I mean, and you. Okay. A lot of the naysayers are like, okay, here's this guy going for clout. You know what I mean? Speaking out, trying to make a name off of this guy's name or by Meek Mill's name and that thing. You know what I mean? Some of them are saying, well, how can you hate on someone else's creativity and what they create? The movies have violence in them. You know what I'm saying? So why not let individuals be violent? America loves violence. You know what I'm saying?
I don't mean to laugh, my bad, but
I just the feedback. You know what I'm saying? I get it. So what do you have to say to these naysayers that disagree and not look at things from just a spiritual lens? You know what I mean? Because some people may say, okay, reality in the world is the good, the bad, the ugly is really in the reality of the world. And your lens is just a spiritual lens. Other people don't look at it like that. How do you address those naysayers?
Yeah, the first way I address the naysayers, which camera is
you
addressing
on
the
both of them,
naysayers?
you
Yeah,
good.
first way I address y'all is to say emphatically, I love you. I love you. I truly do. So you might not understand me, you might not know me yet, but I love you. And because I love you too much to not be honest with you. That's what I tell them first and foremost, you heard me? With this Rick Ross situation, since you brought that up, so all I did was drop my 10th album of my career. It's called Uno, you heard me? Debuted at number 4 in the world, by the way, on the Apple iTunes charts, you heard me?
Let's give it up for my kinfolk.
Let's make sure we know that.
Foremost, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's not an easy task when you're independent.
Oh, bless goodness, that's not an easy task, right? I got a real fan base that ride for me.
We noticed that, man. Like you've been consistent with your social media. You're consistent with your messaging. You know what I mean? You've been consistent and persistent with it. This is your 10th album.
Yes, sir. So I'm on Sway in the morning. I'm promoting my album, and as I'm promoting my album, I smashed that freestyle.
Yes, you
they
did.
throw some beats on.
Yeah, you went crazy.
For sure.
Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah,
so,
but that's per usual though.
there we go.
Yeah, that's per usual.
For people like y'all that know, like, man, that's a regular day at the park for
given.
D.
Yeah.
But for the people who don't know, I want them to know that too. Like, this ain't just a dude that's going viral for talking about Rick Ross. No, I've been doing this, been burning up Sway freestyles and album after album and show after show. So let's establish that first, right?
Yeah.
Amidst that, before any of this rap stuff, by the grace of God, for all the great things that I've been able to do rap-wise, I am an educator first and foremost, brother. I'm from New Orleans. I started out as a middle school teacher before I ever saw success in the rap game. So then when I stopped teaching, when I stopped being a middle school teacher to become a rapper, it was something where education was still at the forefront of what I wanted to rap about and what I wanted to communicate, right? Being a teacher and being a rapper is the same thing. You're a communicator of a message to an audience.
So you stopped teaching to teach.
I stopped teaching to teach. That's a
Immediately,
bar.
Immediately, yes.
That's an immediately, yes. So when I'm on Sway's show and I'm just talking about the fact that we're in the 50th year of hip-hop and everybody just wants to celebrate the culture, I truly feel like hip-hop culture is inside of an identity crisis right now. Because if you ask people, well, what does hip-hop culture represent and what does hip-hop culture not tolerate? We're going to have to sit here like, immediately, I don't know.
It's a free-for-all.
Immediately, I don't know. You know what I mean?
It's because it's IDK, because it definitely is a free-for-all. Pretty much anything goes at this point.
There you go.
Know what I mean? From vulgar, as vulgar as you want to be, as nasty as you want to be, as disrespectful as you want to be, or as lyrical as you want to be. The spectrum is wide.
Yeah.
It's just like autism. You know what I'm saying? It's wide. Like, you know what I mean?
Man.
And pretty much anything goes. it's like the Wild Wild West. You know what I mean?
That's what I observed. So on that show, I'm taking them through the timeline. On that show, me having observed this, me being a fellow at Harvard University, where I teach classes up there, me being a professor at Tufts University, where I literally have my own course called The Intersection of Hip Hop and Social Change. So I talk about how hip hop can be used to make social change. You know what I mean?
That's solid.
All that type of stuff, yo. With me observing all of this stuff in our culture, when I was on that show, one thing that I've observed is that in hip-hop, our OGs oftentimes don't want to evolve musically. They will evolve as far as being businessmen.
Yeah, outside the mic.
Outside the mic.
Yeah.
But you reach more people with your music, count them millions of streams, you know what I'm saying, that they get. Count them millions of monthly listeners that they get. You reach the most people, but you reach our people with that music. So you'll feed our people poison, you know what I'm saying? But then you'll feed people turkeys for Thanksgiving and say, well, it's all good. I've been feeding you poison all year musically, but then I'm going to give away some turkeys for Thanksgiving. And I just realized that that's a problem, and our OGs need to be held more accountable for evolving. Now, the fact that I have observed this, and the fact that I say this, and I brought it out on the show, and I named 3 names. I named Ross, Meek Mill, and Jim Jones. Why did you name them? And I'm talking about what the naysayers said.
Yeah, indeed.
Why did you name them? You could have named this other one, or this other one, or this. If y'all got so many people I could have named, why y'all not naming them? Why y'all not calling them out? If you seem to know that there's other people who need to be called out, you got to think about that. So for me, it was because 2 days before that interview, none of this was planned, bro. My life ain't scripted, you hear me?
Indeed.
None of this was planned, bro. 2 days before that interview, they put their second single out off their upcoming project. You know what I mean? I give them some free promotion. Not that they need it from me, but yeah, their upcoming project that's about to drop. They put their second single out, song called "Lyrical Easy."
I've heard it.
And I listened to the song. The beat banging, of course. You got Ross and Meek doing what they do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I love those brothers as men, as black men, as leaders, all that stuff. But when I listen to the song, and when I'm dealing with real brothers who have committed murders in real life, who's sitting in my office at the university, and now they're pursuing a college degree, and they done did 33 years in prison. They done did 18 years in prison, and they've been able to get out, and by the grace of God, they've changed their life around. When I see that, and I see brothers on a mission to actually get away from that and not glorify that, but I see multi-millionaires who are almost 50 years old, and one that's pushing 40, that is like, dang, y'all still glorifying this in y'all music? Like, that hit me a certain way a couple of days before that interview on Sway.
Yeah.
And so I brought that up, and I brought up their names, and then just because I was in New York, I think about New York culture, and I thought about Jim as somebody who is like, bro, you're an OG at this point, But it's not cool to be an OG and to just talk about how you'll get your young boys to come and do this to somebody, you know what I'm saying? And to murk somebody and all this. And I'm just like, man, we can do better. I love you too much to not be honest with you. That's all that got said, right?
Yeah.
That being said, I'm also a person who, my students who I've taught in middle school have been murdered because of gun violence in the hood.
Yeah.
The music that a lot of these multi-platinum artists make is the soundtrack to the lifestyle of a lot of people in the hood, you know what I mean, who get caught up in this stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm knowing this stuff. My whole entire adult life has been dedicated to making God proud and making this earthly realm a better place.
Yeah.
Listen, when I say all that, like, that is something to where I'm not just speaking for no clout, man. I've been on this type of time.
Yeah.
And that's all I said. And with that being said, what you're discovering is this. In our culture, accountability is often seen as an attack. And the problem is this. These are public figures who are doing public actions and putting out public messages, but we want people to say, but you can't publicly address them about anything that they're doing. That don't add up. And I was a math teacher, but that don't add up.
Immediately.
Not computing.
Immediately. It's the math ain't mathing. So do you feel like that you feel like your message is being missed by the masses based on their they're in a bubble of, okay, I love Meek, I love Ross. Ross has his car show here in Atlanta. Ross does this, Meek does this for Reform. Do you think that your messaging was missed by naming their name? Do you feel like your messages could have got through better if you didn't say a name, but just put it out there in general?
Immediately no.
Okay.
We wouldn't even be having this conversation.
No. True.
We wouldn't even be having this conversation, with all due respect to all the media outlets that's hitting me up right now. TMZ posting, academics posting, me and Charlamagne texting, you know. Sway always show love, so shout out to Sway.
Shout out to Sway. Sway's always been a real.
You was going to show love regardless.
Yeah, this was already set up prior to before.
We wouldn't be having this conversation if not. So understand that this is less about the person and more about the principle.
Yes.
But because the person is carrying out the principle, the person being named is not off limits. You feel me? And make sure that clip, that need to be a clip that people see. You know what I mean? Because this is about the principle. And I want people to know this. Listen, you talk about their attachment to these artists. Matthew 10:37. If you love your father or mother more than you love me, you are not worthy of being mine. Or if you love your son or daughter more than me, you are not worthy of being mine. God doesn't want us to be attached to our own father and mother or son and daughter more than we attach to him. Let alone your favorite rapper?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
You that attached to your favorite rapper?
Yeah.
That me saying this, I'm literally just doing God's work. At this point, that's all I'm doing is God's work. If your attachment to your favorite rapper got you like, nah, man, I don't even hear the message because you said his name. Even though he really does glorify all that stuff in his music, the fact that you said his name, I ain't trying to hear nothing. Well, that's a problem you got.
Yeah. I know there was a clip, and I'm going to run this clip right now. There was a clip where Meek Mill was speaking about how the labels are only signing and paying.
All they pushing is murder.
And all they're pushing is the murder music. And just check this clip out right here.
I wasn't on stages like this. I was on rap stages rapping about, you know, violence and guns. You know, that we get paid to rap about that stuff. They actually pay us more when we rap about more ignorant stuff. So I make sure I even align and come talk on stages like this. But you guys, the NAACP, open up doors for people like me to be able to power forward, because the things that fund us, that don't power me forward. You know, I just make sure, because I know better and I'm at an age point, I'm 36, they power us really went from when we 21 to 25, where we really don't know. I'm one of the lucky ones that made it through where I was able to get my knowledge and sense, and I'm the one that keep the line on the rap ignorance and be able to level out conversations like these and deliver it to the young people who may not attend things like this.
So to me, when I saw Meek saying that clip with this clip, and when I saw what you said, I was like, okay, like, you know, I kind of follow what you're saying in this, because it's like he himself is admitting that they are putting a battery in the back of the artists that are making murder music, drill kill music. You know what I'm saying? And they're doing that. So why would it be such an impact or be so upset with you saying what you said?
Brother, I got goosebumps on my arms underneath this hoodie, underneath this be real, be righteous, be relevant Dee-1 hoodie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm gonna plug that because
you must.
Straight up, because that lets me know, Meek, brother, I love you, I genuinely do, but that lets me know that you're practicing willful ignorance. You're intentionally ignoring the knowledge that you chose to spit to the people by letting them know the game about what the industry does and what they incentivize. You giving the people the game, but then you intentionally ignore the game that you're giving to go ahead on and glorify the same stuff that you just spoke out against. And Meek's reply to me was, "We do everything, LOL."
Well, here's the thing I wonder, like, I do wonder, and I want to get your opinion on this, like, when we do make it out, and people like Meek and Ross, and when we do make it out, my wife asked me this, she was like, why do we feel the need to have to continue? Like, why do you have to go back to that bag to be able to do that if you make it out? If you've already made it out, you've made the money, you've made it. Now I get it. When you coming up, you're trying to come up. You know what I mean? And for the dudes out there rapping that's trying to pop off the rap shit, as they say, is like, bro, they gonna start rapping about the drilling, killing, speaking on dead ops, doing all they can to be able to get a buzz because they just want to get some money. And they shouldn't do that, but that's what happens out here. This is the facts. Is what's going on. But it's like once you make it out of it, I do wonder, and as my wife asked me, she's like, why do rappers have to go back to that bag when they all have the capability of making great music? Some of my favorite songs by Rick Ross, he's not glorifying any of that. You know, like Aston Martin music and songs like that are just incredible, great music that he's able to make. You just kind of wonder what makes you want to go back into that same bag. And I think you were speaking to that earlier about just the not wanting to evolve musically, but evolving as a businessman.
There you go.
Like, you know what I mean? But not evolving musically or going back to that same format. Why do you think that is?
I truly think...
Is there a fear there, you think?
Yeah, that's what I truly think that it's fear of evolving. It's fear that your same fan base won't want something different because you know that what you've been feeding them, now you're mentally smart enough to know that I've been feeding them poison all this time. Now you're successful enough to know that it's poison. But you realize that your fan base has developed an appetite for that poison.
Okay.
And you don't want to come with that healthy food now because of fear that they won't take to it the way they've taken to the poison. That's what it is. So what are we gonna do, man? We should be here to overcome our fears. And I know for a fact that's one of the fears that a lot of these older artists have.
I think part of that too is that, like, especially for young artists coming up, the labels, it's like the blueprint has become, you gotta be selling drugs as a woman, you gotta be shaking it or busting it open, this, that, and the third to get on. So it's like the labels are making that almost a blueprint to get signed. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like, even if that ain't what you want, like, kids will come up and rap about what they not really doing and then get consumed in that lifestyle and find yourself in peculiar situations because you're trying to emulate something that you're not. And I think that's where the poison really attacks the youth, to me. It's the labels, if they would change and stop pushing the status quo to be this, then other people will try to emulate what their success is. But when you paint the picture of success to be something, then these kids that come from nothing, that ain't being raised by their parents, that's being raised by the music, then that's what they gonna be because that's all they see.
All right, so watch this. It's a two-headed monster, right? It's two unhealthy attachments here. There's the attachment that artists in the music industry have to the labels and to the power structures in the industry because they're like you said, in order to be successful, I got to get signed. And in order to get signed, the labels seem to want to incentivize all the negative music, right? The murder music, right?
The drill kill or the sex sell. You know, sex always sells and the killing sells because in our movies that we watch, when a movie start off, it's going to start off with an action that's going to be either a killing or something to take place because that's what we love as Americans. That's what we feel like we feed off of that. You know what I'm saying?
There we go. So one unhealthy attachment is the artist wanting success so bad that they're willing to conform to the standards of an industry that really doesn't care about them in the first place. So you have to be able to redefine what success looks like for you. I've never gone platinum as an artist, you know what I'm saying? But I'm extremely successful. I've built generational wealth off of rapping, you know what I'm saying? Like literally, and that's on the cool, kid, because they don't know that because it's like, dang, Dee-1 not even out here stunting, you know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
But a long, prosperous career thus far and still going, and my 10th album was my highest debuting album. I'm still on the come up. With that being said, like, I'm already massively successful inside of hip-hop, but a 19-year-old just getting into the game doesn't even know oftentimes that success can look like that because all he sees is the OGs that he looked up to. That's why it's important for the OGs to be like, hey, brother, I made it here, but it ain't all it's cracked up to be. That's why I rock with Nas, because Nas made a song called Black Zombies to where he talked about, this man said, I'm a Columbia record slave, so get paid. You know what I mean? He's telling people, like, yo, to the young brothers looking at me, y'all don't realize, like, man, I'm even at that point in his career, I'm even kind of a slave to these major labels and to what they want from me. Don't be a Black Zombie. Be better than me. You know what I mean? These OGs ain't saying that. These OGs are like, well, I know that I'm a rich slave at this point, but I don't want to lose that attention that I'm getting from the people I'm feeding the poison to. So let me just keep giving them a new album of that same stuff in an effort that they'll still like me. But I'm not gonna switch up what I'm doing. That's an unhealthy attachment, right? That's one unhealthy attachment.
Yeah.
That's one.
Yeah.
The second unhealthy attachment is fans to their favorite artists.
Yeah.
That's an unhealthy attachment to the point where you so intoxicated with this ignorance because it got a fire beat and this person is lyrical and you like their tone of voice and their cadence. You so intoxicated with the ignorance that you can't even see logic. You can't even see intelligence. All you see is, oh, that's my favorite artist. You can't say nothing about that person. You say something about that person, you a hater. You a clout chaser. Yeah. That's an unhealthy attachment there, man.
No, definitely. I've experienced that same thing. I was in a situation in my career where it came out that I co-wrote the Drake Best I Ever Had, right? And people were so infatuated with Drake that when they found out that Kia Shine, the dude at that time, all they knew for was the So Crispy song, they was like, how they couldn't put two and two together. They didn't even think about the fact that the song came from a song that I produced for Lil Wayne. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was called Do It For The Boy. They even skipped over the fact that I was a producer and that produced for Wayne. It was just like, in Wayne's height, it was just like people did not want to see it because they just felt like I was trying to attack Drake when I only was just speaking the truth about the fact that, and I didn't come out and say it for clout. I was actually winning an award, won the award, had the award in my hand, and someone said, "Hey, what'd you got that award for Best I Ever Had for?" I said, "I'm a co-writer of the song," and it went viral. And I had so many people just try to ostracize me, you know what I mean, for just speaking truth, you know what I mean, and it's crazy because they looked at that like a chip in his armor or something like that without even knowing the real business.
Like you literally co-wrote the song.
What I'm saying? Like, exactly.
And they're mad that you said, I co-wrote the song.
Yeah, they're very upset about that. You know what I mean? And it was just like one of those things where it's like, he sent the record that he made, so sampled from my record, and I was given a co-writer credit. So that's how I'm a co-writer of the song. And people just did not want to accept that. But at that point is when I realized, like, I'm not living for people. I'm living for, I go to bed with my wife and my kids at night. These are the people that I care about. I know that the music game is fickle. I know that right now, you may be viral right now with this scenario with Rick Ross and Meek Mills, but then it'll be a new thing next week. You know what I mean? Yeah. And these same people will have forgotten about whatever they were upset about, because all this thing really does is allow individuals to look at someone else's life and talk about them and not reflect on their own. You know what I mean? So, and I know, like, I lay down with my kids and my wife at night, so that's why, and I know God is who I please, you know what I'm saying? Because it says in the word too, you brought the word up earlier, and I got to bring it. It says, man, without faith it's impossible to please God. You know what I mean? So you must be able to continue to walk on faith, and it's not going to always look pretty. And he says he'll give you peace that the world can't even give you. You know what I mean? His peace, you know what I mean, that outstands whatever the world tries to give you. So at times you have to have tough skin like you have right now, because they're going to be a positive and a negative. If 1 million people love you, it's 1 million people hate you. It just depends on who you ask that day. I mean, like, people, I love Jay-Z. He's a billionaire and done his thing, right? At the same time, I know people who don't like him. There are people who don't like Beyonce. You go to every video on YouTube, there's going to be a like and a dislike. You know what I mean? It's just, that's what's a part of the society. It just depends on whose opinion you want to give more credit to. I always tell people an opinion is like a debit card. Everybody got one, but they all not worth the same. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's what I feel like, man. I think I admire the fact that you are not afraid to be able to speak your truth. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
I think that, you know, that's your truth and that's what you feel.
Watch this. There's a difference between my truth and the truth.
Yeah.
I'm speaking the truth.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because it's coming from the word of God. So anybody who is like, well, that's just your opinion. No, this ain't my opinion. I don't pick favorites when it comes to, I like this person, but I don't like this person. Man, this is the truth. And I think people don't want to acknowledge that. They're like, all I'm doing, this is very important right now. We've never had this done in hip-hop history. This is a pivotal moment in the history, right? Yeah. Because for the first time, I'm helping to draw a line in the sand. And all I'm doing is drawing that line to say, when we talk about the morality of hip-hop, there's a line drawn in the sand to saying, who's in this game to try to represent righteousness, musically, to represent righteousness, and who's on the other side to represent what would glorify the opposite of, which is what Satan would be pleased with. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Evil.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And all I'm doing, y'all, is just drawing the line, and the fact that I'm sitting here like, what's up, y'all? My name Dee-1, I'm from New Orleans, all good. Let me just draw this line right quick while I'm in this industry. Me drawing that line is irritating a lot of people demons, because it's making it like, oh, now it's going to be shown that I'm on the other side of the line. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
now I got to make a choice, you know?
Yeah, it irritates the demons when your vibe is right spiritually, first and foremost. It does do that.
But y'all should be happy that I'm drawing the line, because it say more than anybody on either side of the line, God despises people who are lukewarm, who are actually not fully on either side, who are like, man, I'm trying to just, this one day, Monday and Tuesday this, Wednesday and Thursday this, Friday and Saturday that, Sunday that. Nah, man, that line being drawn. And so that's for the fans and the artists and the industry. But we already know what side of the line the industry is on.
Oh, yeah, of course.
We know the industry.
It's evident.
The industry is on the side where the money is.
Yeah. Do you think that it's possible to, I think about this clip that was in New Jack City, a classic movie, where they were trying to find Nino Brown when he was hiding out after the car had reduced to fucking rubbish. And they were trying to find what was going on, where Nino was at. And it was like, people was looking for him. It was like, you seen Nino? And one young kid was like, man, I ain't showing you what Nino is. When we won the state championship, he bought all of us scooters and everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do you think it's possible to be able to right your wrongs? Like, you know what I mean? Like, cause I see Ross, I see Meek doing a lot. Jim, I've done records with Jim, and you know what I mean. Like, I don't know what the positive things he got going on, but I see that a lot of times guys try to right their wrongs. Do you think it's possible to do enough good to be able to right your wrongs? You know what I mean? Or is it like the old man that was they end up shooting at Nino? He's like, you're an idolater. You got to know what you reap, what you sow. You know what I mean? And, at the end of the day, Nino was killing his hood at the same time. You know what I mean? With what he was putting out there in it, but then trying to clean it up. So, and I think that's kind of what Ross was saying when he was talking about the things he's given, the things he's been able to do, and the opportunities he's been able to give people. Do you think it's possible? Well,
I was looking based on the most recent musical offering that he gave to the people, that he fed us, He fed us musically, and he fed us
he did do that.
In these 2 singles that they dropped, Shaq and Kobe, Lyrical Easy. They fed us more murder, more kill your own people music, more sell dope, to your people music. That's what was being fed. So them turkeys don't make up for that.
No doubt.
You feel me? Them Pampers don't make up for that. And that's what my headspace is when you talk about that. Also, what's a great way to right those wrongs?
What's that?
It's to have the courage and the boldness. I'm not saying it's easy, but I think it's powerful if you can come out and acknowledge those wrongs. That's powerful. That make a statement to people when they're like, whoa, you're not just trying to deflect the attention from all that stuff you did in the past and just move on and be like, well, it's the next chapter of life. Because at a certain point, people also just don't even believe you anymore. Like, people don't believe that you are out there committing those type of crimes and those type of acts.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, yo, why not just come out if you truly have a heart that feels bad about that stuff? Why not come out and just say, I was actually like wrong for that, and I've evolved past that,
I like when I listen to, I know like Jesus just dropped a new project, right? And I gave it a listen. And his perspective was from what he used to do. And I like Jay-Z's classic line, you liking like I sold you crack. No, Hov did that. So hopefully you wouldn't have to do that. Like, I like the perspective when artists can still be OG and can still be street, but grab it from a reflection, of not what they're doing it right now. You know what I'm saying? And I think that takes skill set, to be able to do that. But I don't think everybody's ready to move to that place. I'll give you an example of what you're talking about as far as accountability. The restaurant guy who goes to Keith Lee. Keith Lee goes to different restaurants and he tells people about what was right or what was wrong about the food and the service, right? I like Candy Burris's response to when he came by her spot, the old lady gang. She owned and had accountability for it.
Yeah.
She came out and was like, nah, hey, okay, this was that, and if we need to do better with this, we do better with this. I like that, you know what I mean, approach to it.
Yeah.
You know, versus one person who owned a restaurant that was like, who was this kid with autistic kid trying to give some
milk and honey.
You know, I think it was some milk. Not it's two of them in Atlanta, but it's the one that's called Real Milk and Honey. And I didn't like that because it's like instead of them owning up to it, they tried to deflect and be able to talk about this guy having, I don't know what the autism community had to do with any of that, but I didn't like that. You know what I mean?
How you not to cut you off, but how you felt about Ross's response to me, making fun of my New Orleans accent, calling me basket head, calling me Lil Man.
I felt like, you know, when I looked at that, you know, I looked at lately Ross has been doing a lot of things online where he's been beefing with, like, you know, Envy and different people. It's been kind of going back and forth. You know, Ross was my first guest on Rap City when I was hosting Rap City for a while. And we actually used his house when we did the Superfly movie. It's always been great vibes with that king, you know what I mean? But at the same time, when I seen that, I just expected a different approach. You know what I mean? I just think like it's a different approach that he could have been used. On one hand, you know, from his perspective, somebody speaking on my name and I don't like someone speaking on my name. You don't know what I'm going through. You know what I'm doing. You don't get that. So he wants to, you know, to refute that. But at the same time, I just think like as a boss that he is, I think maybe, you know, a conversation should have been had between the two. And I hope still maybe you guys can have a conversation.
I would prefer the conversation to be public though. Like I have no problem with it being public.
And I get why you want it to be public, because you feel like the public food that he's been giving people has been public. So why not talk about it in the public? There you go. You know, it's just it's tough because, like I said, you are being a disruptor at this point. Mm. You know what I mean? And what comes with being a disruptor, everybody's not going to like that. You know what I mean? And you got to be fine with that. Yeah. But you are, because
do I seem like I'm fine with it?
I think you're very fine with it. I
seem like I'm fine with it.
I think you have no. I think immediately yes. Immediately. I think you have no problem with it at all. And
because I know that it's in the name of God,
and it's from love. I don't think
it is from love.
Yeah. I don't think you're coming with a negative thing. I think it's from love. I think you're speaking with love. I don't think, you know, and it's just everybody's not going to agree with the approach. But at the end of the day, I think the message and what you're saying has to be like considered. You got to look at the message here. You know what I mean? The message is, you know, you got to consider the message because it's valid. What's happening. It's valid. And there are some people who can listen to rap music and not go do what the rappers do. Mm-hmm. There are. They just love to hear that street music, but there are some people that are so impressionable that they don't have a father, they don't read the Bible, they don't have a spiritual lens. The low vibrational tone of music that they own is what they own, and they're gonna be influenced by that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And we do have to be accountable for that.
Let's talk about parenting in that space, because like something we've talked about on a couple other interviews, like when we grow up in our generation, the Uncle Lukes and your Lil Kims and different things. So it's like the importance of parenting and keeping your kids away from certain things and not allowing that to be impressionable on them. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, parenting comes first.
Yes.
Absolutely, parenting comes first. So as a parent, you have to make sure that you don't have an unhealthy attachment to this same destructive poison. Because nowadays, see, this is a generation where
hip-hop parents.
There you go. Hip-hop parents now.
Rap daddies.
So there you go. Rap daddies. Bro, I used when I was a middle school teacher, and once the school found out that I was a rapper, I had the students' parents coming up to me. It's supposed to be a report card conference, but they coming up to me giving me their mixtape. You know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, this is a hip-hop generation now, boy. Your daddy was less concerned about your grade than getting his mixtape to Dee-1 when he came in here. That's crazy, bro.
Nah, listen, I think it's a lot of ear porn out there. EP, the EPs of ear porn. I think that like the parental label used to be the thing back in the day. But now,
they don't even use it. Like, where's that at?
If you got streaming services, they're going to be able to go to whatever they want to because they have a phone. And you giving your child Apple Music or Spotify or Tidal or whatever it is you choose to give them. Yeah. So it is going to be very important.
In the house, man.
It's very important to be parents. It's very important to speak to these children and so they can. But some of these kids have no parents. See, some of these kids are staying with their grandmama.
And who's taking the place of the parents when they don't have parents? Who's in their ear all day? Who they spending all the time
with? It's the rappers. And I think that's why it needs to be a balance. It needs to be a balance because
I'm part of that balance.
Yes, and you are bringing balance. Yeah. You are bringing balance because there does need to be, okay, this rap is gangster rap. You know what I mean? This rap is conscious music. This rap is, it used to be like that back in the day.
Yeah,
you could be able to kind of like,
options,
you had options and you could be able, and all of these options were being pushed to the masses. All of them.
It's
now, it's right, it's just like the pendulum has shifted and it's just, okay, the record labels want cookie cutter. There are no more artist development going on, so it's only going to be analytics. If the analytics are saying that this is what they want, ear porn music, and they want drill kill music, this is what they want, then they're going to give it this. They went so far, and people missed this last year, but this happened, where Capitol Records actually came out with an AI artist. You guys remember that?
That was crazy.
And I mean, it
lasted for like 1 or 2 days.
Half a second. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, wait a minute.
Because the artist started using the N-word.
That was crazy,
but
right?
it's crazy. But what was crazy is that's exactly what they're doing. They are looking at the analytics. This is what works. This is what sells. We have the data. AI will let us know.
These artists are the AI artists.
You know what I'm saying?
Real life.
You guys are going to be the real AI artists in real life. Because they are that.
They clone Tyrone, man.
They clone Tyrone. That's exactly what it is. Out here right now.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? And they're going to go to jail. They're going to die. And they're going to own their publishing. And that's what happens.
Good rapper insurance.
I mean? Good rapper insurance is what takes place. But I love the fact that you're bringing balance, brother. I love your grind. I love your social media messaging because, like, I keep my coffee with Kinfolk going, and I think it's very important because people they may not watch that TV. They're gonna watch that phone. You know what I mean? And God can speak through anybody and through anything.
Indeed.
So it's very important to be able to keep doing what you're doing, bro.
Man.
Keep doing with your music. Keep going with it. They just say was it like? Any press, bad press is good press. Any new, I mean, at the end of the day, there are a whole bunch of new people, a lot of new people that are hip to Dee-1 today.
Right.
And I just encourage you guys to go do your research.
Oh man, it's there.
And see that the isms that he gives them, you know what I mean, has been going on for over a decade.
It's there.
You know what I mean? It's there. And I just gotta say that he's definitely like, this is not about clout. This ain't about none of that. This is really who this guy is. This is really who he is. I've been knowing this guy a long time. This is just really who he is. You know what I mean? And you can't, Kobe Bryant said one time, rest in peace to the coach, to one of the GOATs, and we go into the Mamba year. He said, if the same thing people like him for, the same thing people hate him for,
then what?
Then what?
On Jesus.
What we do with that?
What do you do with that, man? You know what I'm saying? You keep doing you.
So, man, I was on social media, bro. I've been following you. Kid put me onto you, and I'm just like, man, this dude's phenomenal, like what you represent, right? So I saw a post that you put on Instagram, and you were talking about legends.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, you a legend of what? Like, if you finish that sentence, would you still, like, consider that person a legend, man? Can you tap on that and touch in on that for the people, man?
Once again, for all the fans, this ball falls in y'all court, yo. Like, as people, we love them when folks affirm us and when they like, man, you a legend, you a legend. So, of course, the artist is going to embrace that title all the time. But as a fan, finish that sentence. This artist is a legend of what? A legend of making murder music? A legend at selling dope to their own people musically? A legend at disrespecting women? A legend at just glorifying the power of what's between her legs? And when you think about that and you finish that sentence, it make you be like, that might not be somebody I need to be looking up to and idolizing. They don't deserve a bunch of maybe praise. They might deserve a bunch of prayers. They might deserve a bunch of like, man, we need to, like, get that person some therapy because they've been doing this for 30 years straight. They thought that this was like something that made them great. but it's something that's kept them sick. You know what I mean? So that's real. And for the fans, they gotta know that if they don't want anything different from the content, then nothing will ever change. And a lot of fans, this makes y'all uncomfortable because I don't feel like a lot of fans really want that change. I feel like I think it's easy and it's convenient to say it when rest in peace Takeoff. You know what I'm saying? When Takeoff get murdered, man, we gotta stop all this killing in hip hop, man. We gotta stop them. When Nipsey Hussle, oh man, we gotta stop it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think the fans really want that change. And I say this in a song. I said people don't want. Now this the mindset of a fan. People don't want that real, they just say that they do. Now, people don't want that real, and I'm one of them too. I'm so easily entertained by ratchet activity, violent, negative imagery always seem to interest me. I tell myself, no more music glorifying evil, selling drugs, womanizing, killing our people. Then I hear a song with a tight beat and can't deny it. The hook is catchy, so I subconsciously memorize it. Next thing you know, I'm reciting all the lyrics, and my day don't feel complete unless I hear it. Inviting darkness in my spirit, this can't be light. I'm craving what I'm supposed to be fighting, this can't be right. I must be blind to the effects, this can't be sight. Death is in the power of the tongue, and this can't be life. Be careful what you get involved with, because you can't support a cause, but then hate the effects that it causes. Do I really want change? Am I really who I claim? When that final day comes, Lord, will you call my name? This just really on my brain.
That's hard, man. Immediately,
man. I think
Immediately,
yes.
Out too, man. That's immediately yes, and that's immediately yes. What you're saying in regards.
One
to
thing I want you to touch on.
What's that?
Talk about spirits, the spirit store.
Yeah, the thing about it is this,
Spirit
man.
store.
It's spirits. It's spirits in your music. It's spirits. You know what I'm saying? Like wine and spirits. When you drink liquor, all right, you go to the package store. It's a package store, wine and spirits, because when you drink this liquor, it's gonna create this certain spirit that's gonna come out of you. You know what I'm saying? Spirit, we spell words. You know what I'm saying? Like, so and words could put spells on individuals. You know what I'm saying? So in the music, there are spirits. There are spirits in things that you listen to. Faith come by hearing of the word. There's still the spirit of what you're hearing you can put into you. So when you gotta watch what you eat, you gotta watch what you feed yourself, what you hear, feed yourself in your ears, what you feed in here as well. Because it's like when you hear certain spirits and that conviction of that spirit, you know what I mean? That's what's gonna come through. You know what I mean? And you'll find yourself, if you're in a position where you are low and low vibrational and you get some spirit in you, just like that liquor come in you. You ever seen somebody say he a mad drunk? When he drink, he get mad. When he drink, he want to fight. You know what I mean? Because that spirit is in them. We got to be careful of the spirits that are in music, because there's spirits in that music. You know what I mean? But when I hear you spit, you hear that is that positive? Is that it's a positive spirit? You got life, you got death. You know what I mean? Like you just said, death and life is in the power of the tongue. You know, you got good spirits, you got evil spirits. They're out here. You know what I mean? It's real. So, you know, to be able to we got to be careful of the spirits that we let in our minds now. Be careful what you putting those spirits in your ears now.
I gotta say this too, because I'm just, there ain't no script to none of this, boy. So I'm just speaking from the heart. Listen, it would be different if I was saying all this and if I couldn't spit. You know, it would be different, because it's like, it would be way different.
Ooh, I know where you finna go.
You feel me?
Yes.
You feel me?
Yes.
So with that being said, I'm just like, yo, to any of the artists I named, you know what I'm saying? Like with Ross, you know, I love that brother. I really do. And he said, he made a comment, go viral for your own content, you know, instead of on other songs. I've been doing that. Like, you late to the party, my brother. You heard me? And with that being said, Ross, would you be where you are in the rap game if you wouldn't have been glorifying murder and drug dealing for the last 17 years in your music? Would you be where you are in the rap game? Because I'm where I am in the rap game without glorifying any of that stuff. And we're having a message, be real, be righteous, be relevant. And we're spitting that hot fire that y'all just heard. You heard me? Like,
and we've been consistently doing that.
And consistently doing this.
I would like Ross to be able y'all to speak, because all of y'all are so great and powerful. That I would love for us to be able to just, for them to reach out to you and know you. Because apparently when he's saying, because he definitely doesn't know you. You know what I'm saying? Like, he should. I get
that to him.
Because if he knew you, he'd know where your heart was at.
Okay.
And he'd know what's going on. That's what I'm saying.
It's a lifestyle for me.
That
It wasn't a quick.
It wasn't a cloud thing.
There you go.
Like, so that's why I would love for him, and I hope he sees this, so he can know that this is where this brother's heart is at, and it wasn't ill. He didn't mean ill by what he was trying to do. He just drawing his line.
Right.
But I would love for y'all all to get together, because ultimately, we are all believers. He without seeing cast the first stone. We want to be able to just come together, because I want to see us. That's what we need to do, because we do know that there's a opposite of us that's trying to keep us all down. And I want us to be able to come up and be together. But you got to be able to lock horns. Like, I don't agree that men should never, disagree. If you have individuals around you that you don't disagree with sometime, you better watch that individual.
Better watch
because they plotting. You know what I mean? You have to be able to lock horns and be disagreement with men. But the disagreements don't have to lead to death and shooting and violence. It just needs to be able to get, we come to an understanding and agreement of what it is.
You know I always say, we got to have uncomfortable conversations to become comfortable.
Yes, we got to have uncomfortable conversations to become comfortable. And that's all it really is, man. And I just want that to be that on that. You know what I mean?
That's
the ultimate goal.
That's the goal, you know what I mean? Because that way, if you help that brother see something that he wasn't seeing, and that's like, oh man, it's all a credit to the good, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they come together, it's like, oh yeah, it's great, you know what I mean? And then maybe that's change that you're sparking, that thing that line that you're drawing, maybe, you have a guy like that be able to help draw those lines and be able to say, okay, man, all right, we're gonna look at this differently now. You know what I mean? Because ain't nobody right all the time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Including myself.
Yeah. So
I'm so far from perfect that I don't want anyone to think that me taking a stand for righteousness means that I think that I am righteous 100% of the time.
Yeah, you eye level. You eye level with y'all. He eye level with us. We eye level. So it ain't like as so above as so beneath. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's just coming to an understanding and understanding each other and the messages, and they won't always be the like we just said. It's just like you got to be comfortable with having uncomfortable conversations.
So watch this. I'm about to spit a verse.
Go ahead.
This verse that I'm going to spit is something that my fans absolutely love it. It's from a song called People Don't Want That Real.
Okay.
Right? It's the remix, right?
Yeah.
Featuring my brother Starlito, matter of fact. Right?
Lito.
The same verse that people love, a bunch of people hate it because they feel like, oh, you talking about me. I say, what's the point of writing all of these lyrics if I'm rapping to an audience that ain't trying to hear it? They rather me blow a bag than rap about building wealth. They rather me get some brain than rap about mental health. Don't censor me. Eventually, try to make sense of me. I don't need your dollars. I need you to think sensibly. You feel good now that you vegan? Oh, that's funny. If you still promoting garbage, you just a healthy dummy. My city don't even love me. I'm calling it how it is. I'm a threat to the power structure that's brainwashing our kids. I'm fracturing all the egos of illegitimate heroes. I only look up to one man, cause he died, then he rose. I keep it too real, cause life don't last too long. If everybody likes me, I'm doing something too wrong. Maybe in time, they'll appreciate my words like Nipsey. Till then, I'ma see how far keeping it real gets me. Immediately,
yes.
I don't play with you,
Immediately, yes.
Immediately,
Hey,
yes.
man, listen. And on that note, we're going to go ahead and call it a fin until we speak and see each other again.
Yes, sir.
Continue to win. Continue to keep pushing, bro. You know what I mean? Dee-1.
Give it up.
Uno. Right here. Give it up for my kinfolk.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Thank y'all, man.
Immediately, yes. Immediately, kinfolk.
Yes, indeed.
Man, wow.